Hey everybody, welcome into the Bear With Us podcast. Immediate reaction to the Bears beating the Texans 23-20. As you can see, your boy is solo again. Jack is still dealing with some home owning issues. So this will be another brief one. Wanted to get some immediate raw thoughts out there into the world. Again, the Bears beat the Texans 23-20. All in all, pretty ugly game from the offense. The one thing that Jack and I have wanted this team to establish by the end of the year is really on both sides of the ball is an identity. One thing is for certain about this Bears offense. They can run the football. They're really, really good at running the football. I didn't mind the play calling today. I thought Luke Getsy did pretty well. There was some conservativeness at the end of the first half. There were a few drives where I thought a couple 3 and outs where I thought he could have been a little more aggressive, but overall, I thought he was a lot conceptually doing things to build off of what they can do or what they were doing with the run. I say all that to say Justin Fields had a bad game. Week 1 against the Niners, I've been on record saying, just throw the game out. Who cares? It was a fucking monsoon, whatever. And then the Packers game, he only throws the ball 11 times. You can sort of point and, make excuses for that. There's no excuses for this game. He missed some really easy layups. He missed Kmet on a throw down the seam. He missed quite a few wide open receivers that he didn't look at. That said, we don't know what the play call is for some of those, so I don't know if he just misses them or what. But regardless, they were open and he was not throwing them the ball. Couple overthrows. I mean, he looked bad. I think the pro to, or I don't even know if I want to call it a pro, I guess the silver lining to a game like this is that Luke Getsy didn't handcuff him. So we're allowed to sit here and say, Justin Fields was just bad. He missed throws. Let's see how he grows from this. Let's see how he learns from this. Let's see if he can get better. What I don't want is games like against the Packers, where it's like, well, why were you only throwing the ball 11 times? Like, you got to show us if he's bad. I'll take a bad game from Justin Fields over a handcuffed game from Justin Fields, if that makes sense. I obviously would much rather have him. I'm fumbling over my words here. Right after the game, I'm excited. I would much rather Justin Fields have great games nonstop. But if I had to pick between the two, I will take a Justin Fields bad game over a handcuffed game. Other than that, man, I mean, defensively, you talk about establishing an identity. This identity is being established. They're a little bend but don't break, but they go for turnovers. It's clear that that's what they're coached on. The punching the ball, the going for interceptions. The defense, I'm not in love with the linebacker core. Roquan played much better today, 16 tackles, I think 2 tackles for loss and a pick to seal the game pretty much. So he had a good game. The other two, there has to be a little bit more playmaking there because the run defense isn't that great. But all in all, that cover 2 that they've instilled is already starting to form that identity. And I think that's what's sort of disappointing with the offensive end to sort of not have one just yet. But one of my thoughts that I had throughout the game is I don't think Larry Borom has had a great or even good first 3 games. And Tevin Jenkins has looked really good at right guard. I'm curious to see if at any point when Lucas Patrick comes back, they move Mustafa to right guard and Jenkins to right tackle. Just something that I'm throwing out there. I have no idea if they would do it or if they want to do it, but I'm curious to see if he continues to struggle, what they do with him at right tackle, or if they just ride him out, because the left side of the line looks really, really good. I've had no complaints about the left side of the line this year. Just looking at some of my notes. Another thing that the Bears have to clean up, this has been 2 weeks in a row now, and I don't know if this is Sam Mustafa, I don't know if this is Justin Fields, I don't know if it's a combination of the two. These mishandled snaps have got to go. I mean, this is the NFL, man. There is no excuse for these the fumbles. I don't care if it's 1, 2, 3. You can't have it. You have to clean that up. You have to clean that up quick. That second half, man. The defense in the first half left a lot to be desired, but they came out firing. I wrote down in my notes in the first half that I really, really wanted that pass rush to show up because they didn't look the greatest. But that second half, they started getting pressure on Davis Mills, got a couple sacks, and then obviously it led to that Roquan pick. So all in all, you got to give this probably like a C- performance, if not even lower than that. I know they came out with the win, but I mean, Justin Fields made this a lot harder on himself than it had to be. You're starting to see what Luke Getsy wants to do philosophically. You're starting to see his play design. Again, a couple times a little too conservative, a couple times even predictable. Like in the fourth quarter, literally like 10 minutes ago on that the play action fake where Justin Fields is going to roll out to his right. I mean, that cornerback read that play, like he's the one that called it. So, but again, all in all, I think the play calling itself was probably a B or a B plus. Justin just has to be better, man. He has to make these throws. He has to get out of his head. I think the biggest thing with me is he has to be decisive. Even if you're making the wrong decision, it's better to make a decision than hold the ball so long that now no one's open, or now that you're overthinking it and you don't pull the trigger on an open guy that you do see. Be decisive. Because the one thing that I asked after last week for Luke Getsy to do was, let's have some more one read and go type of plays. Let's have some more just one read and roll out. And he gave me that. Luke Getsy is starting to do the things that Bears fans are asking for. Justin Fields has to be the guy to seal the deal with that. He has to be the one to make the plays. Point blank, period. Through 3 games, it's hard to say that, Justin Fields has been good this year. It's hard to even give him any excuses because, again, even throwing away the first 2 games, this game under a microscope was not good. We need better from him. But the one thing that me and Jack have said is it's not about the bad games themselves. It's how he bounces back. So he had a bad game, albeit handcuffed against Green Bay. Now he has his second bad game in a row with 0 handcuffs. It was just a straight up bad Justin Fields game against the Texans. Let's see what we do against the Giants. If this starts to become a trend where this is just who Justin Fields is, you're gonna have to start having serious conversations about the Bears drafting a quarterback next year. I think he's too talented for him to consistently look like this year. Again, our expectations were never for 4,000 yards or 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns, but there has to be incremental progress. And through 3 weeks, we haven't exactly seen it. As a matter of fact, I think he's regressed a little bit based on the tape from last year to this year. So, Justin, man, I like you. I think you're talented, but we need more from you. I know the weapons around you aren't the greatest, but it's hard to even use that excuse because I think the weapons we have this year are better than the ones we had last year. Allen Robinson wasn't Allen Robinson for us last year. We had Darnell Mooney and a bunch of nobodies. Now we have Darnell Mooney, Byron Pringle, Equinemius St. Brown looks solid. Cole Kmet, he's bogus a lot on him, but this receiving core is no worse than last year's. And Justin Fields had some really good games last year, or at least a couple against the Niners and against the Steelers. So we can't keep using that excuse all year long. I'm certainly not giving up on him. I'm not super down on him. I am appreciative that Luke Getsy is starting to let him throw the ball more. That way we know by the end of the year, did he make progress or not? He was handcuffed. There was no blaming the play caller. There was no blaming anything else. We get to see who Justin Fields is and how well he's going to progress this year. Last point for me before I get out of here. Khalil Herbert is a dog, okay? And it sucks that Monty got hurt. But this has been mine and Jack's point this whole time about not paying David Montgomery. He's a good player, but he's never put together a full year that makes you want to give him a long-term contract. 1, he's had, okay and solid years. But 2, running backs just get hurt all the time. They're the ones that take the biggest hits consistently of the playmakers, obviously not counting offensive and defensive linemen. Khalil Herbert is just as good, if not better. You don't pay Monty. I hope he gets paid elsewhere because I think he's a good player. I don't want the Bears to invest in the running back position when you have a guy, and Treston Ebner, not for nothing, look good as well. So if you're going in the next year with Herbert as your 1 and Ebner as your 2, I'm completely okay with that. So he ran. I mean, what did he finish with? $140, $130 something. He looked really good. But that is all from me, y'all. I told you I'd keep it quick. I kept this a little under 10 minutes here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The full podcast with hopefully Jack's thoughts. Hopefully I'm not solo again. We'll be dropping on Wednesday. So go ahead and subscribe to us here. That one is also an audio version. So you can catch that one on Apple, on Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Again, like, share, subscribe. I'll catch y'all later.